I just constantly was doing it. It just made my mouth feel so much better. It made it feel cleaner. It made it feel just, I don't know. It helped numb out the pain in a sense and the discomfort. All right, guys, today I'm going to tell you about what I was eating and consuming post double jaw surgery during the no chew phase, which is mainly 2 months for the most part. That's the majority of people. They can't chew for 2 months post-op, with exceptions. Some people can't chew for even longer if they had really big advancements. But it's all based on your surgeon. Remember, always listen to your surgeon. Don't listen to me. Don't say, oh, Chris said I can chew after 2 months. No, no, no. Your surgeon only, right? And wait till the end where I tell you the most important factor for me for feeling better and feeling good during this recovery period. So make sure to keep watching till the end. So guys, it's pretty easy. The more basic I kept it, the easier it was for me, and the more likely I was going to stick to it, because I didn't feel deprived from not being able to chew. When I was maybe out and about with people like my dad or whatever, and he was eating food, I kind of felt like, man, I wish I could eat food. But for the most part, I didn't really care because I didn't want to chew. My mouth and the way everything felt, I was good. I was like, no, 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 I don't want nothing. I just didn't feel it. That was me personally. You may feel better to where you're like, oh, I wish I could chew. But to me, I was perfectly fine staying away from it. So here's what I basically did for 2 meals out of the day. I pretty much always made them protein shakes, right? Which is obvious, right? Everyone thinks, oh, make a shake. Well, I made my shakes very nutrient dense and filling. And I'm going to tell you what that shake was made out of. So it started off with 3 or 4 raw whole eggs, 3 or 4 raw whole eggs that are organic and free range. That's a very important factor because you don't want to get sick. So make sure they're high quality eggs. Well, the chance of you getting sick is very low, but just make sure they're high quality eggs. That should be default. And the next thing I added to that shake was 2 different protein powders. One was cassava, which was recommended to me by a friend because it's basically a meal replacement. It's got protein, it's got all different sorts of fruits and veggies in there. Like it's like a full-on meal, basically, right? So threw a serving of cassava in there to make sure I'm getting a bunch of nutrition. And then I threw another scoop of protein in there by Stone Age. This is a great egg white protein, mainly, or egg protein, and also had psyllium husk for fiber because you can't really consume too much fiber because you're not able to chew, right? So I did that, and then I added frozen fruits. Now, the frozen fruits I used were very specific. It was strawberries, bananas, mangoes, and I think pineapple. It was a tropical medley, basically. I didn't do, maybe strawberry wasn't even in there. I don't remember it now. It's in one of my first videos that I uploaded regarding my recovery. I believe it shows it in there, right? And the reason why I did this was because none of those fruits have a bunch of seeds or a bunch of things that get left over inside your mouth. Like blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, I stayed away from those for the first 2 weeks. And the reason why was because I wanted to keep my mouth as clean as possible. Because you can't really feel the little things inside your mouth when you're recovering from double jaw surgery. And you got surgical sites all inside here, right? And you want to keep those clean. You don't want food, anything getting stuck in there. So I stayed away from a lot of those types of fruits at the beginning, right? First 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. After that, I did no problem, right? But the first 2 weeks, you want to stay away from that because you can't really floss. It's harder to clean your mouth out, and you just don't want anything like that. So the fruits was a big component because it makes it cold, it makes it more thicker, and it makes it taste really good. And then the last thing was just vanilla almond milk. I used the brand Malk, M-A-L-K, which is probably the best almond milk you can buy at a store besides making your own. It's just got a few ingredients in there. And I used the vanilla because vanilla to me is the most natural flavor, and it's just, it blends with anything. So the fruits blend really well with the vanilla. And then all the protein powders were also mainly vanilla. Blend that up, boom, huge shake, very nutritious and very filling, and it was fine. So that was usually about 1 to 2, probably 2 a day for the most part, because I wanted to keep my protein up and get my weight back up, because my weight just went down during the first week of surgery because I wasn't eating anything really. The first week for me post-op was pretty brutal. I'm not going to lie. I went through a lot of stuff, and I wasn't really able to eat much at all, and I lost a lot of weight. So that's why I did 2 to get that weight back up. And I gained that weight pretty quickly once I was able to start consuming calories again. The next thing I did which was probably starting on week 3, was sardines. Sardines were a lifesaver. Now, I did the sardines that were in olive oil and with the skin and bones. I think Wild Planet was the brand that I mainly used. And there's some other brands also that you can order that are on Amazon that are really high end, really clean, good sources of sardines. I recommend it, guys. The flavor for me was so good. And how I ate them was I mashed them up inside the can. I usually put the can in the sink because I didn't want to make a mess anywhere because it's very fishy smelling, right? And fishy. I just didn't want that stuff on my counter or on my anywhere, right? Just in the sink, mash it up, make sure I don't make a mess anywhere. And then after they're super mashed up, just put it in your mouth and use your tongue. I would use my tongue and the roof of my mouth to just push it and smash it more and swallow it whole. That it's hard to explain this, but that's what you'll naturally do. You'll naturally use your tongue basically to chew, if that makes sense. You'll use your tongue to push food into the back of your mouth and swallow it. You're smashing it to the roof of your mouth. And this is how we're supposed to chew anyways. So I don't want to get off into the weeds as to why we even needed double jaw surgery in the first place, but one of the reasons is improper tongue posture and improper tongue usage. When swallowing water, like liquids and food, you're supposed to use your tongue, pushing it to the roof of your mouth and into the back and then swallow. You're not supposed to swallow any other way. This puts constant pressure on your maxilla to stay expanded. That's a whole nother conversation, but that's how you'll naturally most likely figure that out once you start going through it because you'll have no other option. It'll force you to do that. Even when swallowing your pills, it's the same method. It's awesome because you'll then realize you could swallow anything pretty easily once you learn how to swallow properly. So your tongue is going to be your best friend and your roof of your mouth will be your best friend. Just be careful because you can irritate the roof of your mouth a little bit. I noticed that with me, I was kind of bleeding. I had some scrapes at the roof of my mouth, not like bleeding, but there was some bruises there in a sense, and it was a little irritated. But other than that, no big deal. But the sardines, guys, were a game changer because it was that saltiness, that different taste that really just added a satisfaction, and you looked forward to it, and it was quick to eat, and it was very satisfying. So I highly recommend sardines. That worked very well for me. Now, the next thing I did on the list here was I would blend up soups, pre-made soups from Whole Foods. Now, this is because, guys, I'm a single guy, by the way. You don't have anybody live with me. And I'm not really that savvy at making stuff. I'm not the best at it, especially soups. And I just wasn't interested in learning at this time, really. So I didn't make my own food. I went and bought pre-made stuff. Now, if you're good at this, you can just pre-make your own soups right at home and then blend it up, the chicken, all that, blend up the whole soup. And now you have like a solid soup, but it's blended. It's like in a way, and it's warm. So sometimes you're going to want warm food, obviously. This, guys, is incredible. Like, you're basically drinking it, but you still swallow it with the tongue properly, and you still smash those little solids in there to get them more smashed, and then before you swallow. And this is what I did. Soups. I also did Thai curries, and I would throw some of the rice in the blender because they usually provide you with white rice to eat with, white or brown rice, with the curry. And I put that into the blender to thicken it up and make it more bulky and make it more satisfying. And then I ate it like that, guys. It was very tasty. I liked it a lot. It was almost like having a full regular meal, but you're just not chewing. So that's what I did. So soups and Thai curries were excellent. And now for the final part, the most important part that worked well for me to make the recovery process feel so much better was constantly having something cold in my mouth. Now, like I said, you want something warm sometimes, but cold made the mouth feel cleaner. It made it feel better. It just really helped. So what is this number one food going to be? It's going to be ice cream and sorbet. Ice cream and sorbet were my best friends. Actually, at one point, I was probably eating a whole pint a day. I was going through like pints of ice cream and sorbets. I just constantly was doing it. It just made my mouth feel so much better. It made it feel cleaner. It made it feel just, I don't know. It helped numb out the pain in a sense and the discomfort. Not the pain, but the discomfort. And it honestly helped with sleep because it's like, it doesn't go away, guys. Like, it doesn't stop. It's constantly there the entire time. And you're like, man, this just doesn't stop. And it doesn't stop for weeks. You know, it's weeks that it doesn't stop. So it's insane in a sense, right? And so I'm not saying it's like that crazy brutal, but it's not fun, right? But ice cream and sorbet, oh my gosh, your best friend. Plus, obviously, cold drinks with ice, sparkling water, sparkling drinks, anything that's flavored. I would say this is the time I would do it. I don't drink sodas. I don't drink sugary beverages. Like I don't have a bunch of stuff in my fridge. It's like Capri Suns or whatever else out there, right? But during this time, I recommend some sparkling drinks, sparkling water, and like good ones, like stuff that comes in a glass, no plastic. All right, I don't recommend plastic or cans if those can be avoided. But just high end stuff in glass with ice is going to be very beneficial along with the ice cream, along with the sorbet. You'll notice that your mouth will just feel better. And that's what I can say I noticed. It was really beneficial for me. So that's it, guys. That's pretty much my life. My life was protein shakes, sardines, soups here and there, and a bunch of ice cream and sorbets.